Hello, all my December daily friends. We are moving right along to day number 3. This is a story all about how hot cocoa bombs have been taking over my life. Me and my boys decided that we were going to make hot cocoa bombs to raise money for their baseball, like build, tuition, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, well, we sold just under 400 hot cocoa bombs. And they made almost $1,000, a little less if you count expenses and all that kind of stuff, of course, like just under 1,000. So they did so well. So at least one child's baseball is paid for. Yeah, it's just one. So it was definitely a story that needed to be told, as these things, and they still are in our breezeway, all over our house, and they definitely took up a lot of my time, obviously, as you know, they are little ones that can't do a ton of the assembly. My oldest definitely can and did a ton. My youngest made boxes and did all like the prep work. And then they delivered them all. So yeah, we also made and delivered them. So yeah, it's just a little story about that. It's going to have a little flip. I will show you currently where I'm at. Yes, I did say day 3 because I am behind. But this was day 2. Just a little flip out. So we are working over here. This is just going to be a 6x8 layout. I've done 3 8x10, yeah, layouts. So I figured let's do a little bit something, and then I'll go back out to the big one for day 4, because I'll do a big layout and then something over here, because I think day 4 was the day that we went ice skating. No, that was day 6. What is day 4? Where's my book? Oh, day 4 is pancakes with Santa, but still. That should be a pretty good story that we can tell. So let's get going. Oh, one other thing I did do for this that I wanted to show you is I did use my foil quill with Allie's messy circle stamps. I did hot cocoa time. And I wanted to see, I did it on vellum, which is the first time. Yeah, it came out pretty good. First time I did it on vellum. I was wondering how I would like it. The only thing I didn't think of is that the card that I was going over, I forgot there was a heart, but I guess that doesn't, that's not going to affect it too much. I was going to just chop off. One thing that you guys should know, I don't love, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll just make this top. I'll just do it. Anyways, one thing I am trying to do this, I also am trying to figure out how to cut this out because my registration is not working, is use the product that I have. So I only bought the digitals this year. I think that's too big too. I only bought the digitals this year. It's gonna be too big. And yeah, I'm just trying to use things and cards that I have. Even if I cut them up and don't use the full card, at least I used something and got it out of my stash. So, trying to find my other thing. Anyways, if you have any suggestions on how to get vellum to register in your silhouette, let me know, because I really would like to cut this out on the vellum to put it in one of my other spreads, and I'm still trying to figure that out. So, all right, let's get started and put this one together.
Alright guys, so this should have been a pretty easy one. There's nothing too hard about this, but you're gonna see me struggle in quite a few spots. And I did leave them in here for the most part, because I do feel like when I was starting out, or even now, that there is a lot of times where I just feel like some people's pages like just come together so easy, and I'm over here struggling on some of the smallest things. So and when I actually watch creators go live or get some behind the scenes, you do tend to realize that they have some of the same struggles as you do, and they just edit those parts out, of course, because it's not good footage of, that type of thing. So I left a little bit of it in. I'm not going to bore you too much with my silly mistakes, but I do think that seeing some silly mistakes and just seeing mistakes in general make I want to leave my authentic self in here, and my authentic self is making a lot of mistakes. All right, so here is just a simple 6x8, 6.85 by 8.25 picture, and I am using some red like candy cane paper from old L Studios paper pack. I have tons of these paper packs. I bought these when I first started December daily back in 2020. So getting through a few of these is right up my alley this year. I am definitely trying to use supplies that are in my stash. Now I know I do have the digitals and I can make a ton from the digitals, but I really just bought the main kit along with the messy circles and the specialty paper pack. So not too much from this line this year. I definitely knew putting away my stuff from last year that I had so much stuff. Last year I overbought way too much. So I really need to pare down on the things that I have. I'm even considering, even though I'm not like a huge fan of the, heavily embellished pages, I am looking to probably do like a star wreath or something, because I have a star or a heart wreath. I'm not sure, because I have so much of that kind of stuff. So maybe you'll see one of those. All right, so I am just creating that flip out there. You are going to see that I created on the wrong side. No matter how many times I looked at this, I have no idea. I just messed up. It is what it is. You do it. Thankfully, I was able to pull it up pretty good. I did tear some, but once you put it all back down and glue it all back down, you can't really tell. There was a couple of spots where I did, and it is what it is. Sorry about my head there. It gets in the way. I think I put it upside down is what I did. I think I put this part upside down. Thankfully, I figured it out very quickly and just started pulling that up. And I was working on the back of some cardstock, some regular cardstock, not digitally printed cardstock, or it would have been a mess. Like, I would have never gotten it up like this. Even though this was a mess, like, I would have never gotten it up. And then you see me like, I'm just going to use roller adhesive because that usually comes up a lot better. Whew, lots of headshots. Sorry, guys. And it looks like I hadn't even showered yet. So, but yeah, like I said, I don't care what shape that flip up is in, that's going in the back. And like I said, you can't really tell. So, all right. So putting that in, making sure that's all lined up with a little bit of space there so that it flips easily. One thing that you are not going to see, because I actually haven't done it yet, I've thought of this afterwards, is I am going to cut out 4 of the hot cocoa bombs and make a swivel out of these later. I don't even know, maybe once this whole project is done. And put pictures of the other flavors of hot cocoa bombs that we made, just so that we have, memories of that. Because we made 5 flavors, I believe it was. I was going to use that card, but I knew that you would be able to see the heart through that vellum, and I just wasn't a fan of that. So I used scraps of this like red stripe paper, and I thought that would be perfect anyways to kind of bring it in to this side. So all right, guys, yes, today I am going to be figuring out why my head is getting in the shots so much, but I've done all of this filming already, and it's just not working. I think what it is I've pulled my camera out to me instead of angling the camera different. I don't know. So we're going to work on that today. Sorry. When I go to film here in a minute, we're going to be working on that like major today. So you don't see the back of my head anymore. Anyways. All right, so now I just used that little piece of vellum, messy square that I did with my foil quill and stapled that on there. But of course, I stapled right through the other side, and I'm like, oh goodness, but no problems. I will put my number over that to cover that up. So definitely just keep aware. I do that like right there. I figured it out. Like, I was about to pull it up, and I'm like, you know what? Nope. We can just put an embellishment over it. It's no big deal. All right, punching my holes, and then we're gonna move on to stamping. So you guys know from previous photo or my previous day, I really have been looking to use this stamp set, as I just haven't seen it used this much. I think Crystal Inyate used it for her on repeat page, but other than that, I just like Allie hasn't used it yet. Maybe she has now, since she's further, that we haven't seen many more videos, since Christmas happened. But I just haven't seen anybody using the stamp set. It isn't the easiest stamp set to use, but I think that it's important to try and use it since I purchased it, right? Of course, the one time I purchased the stamp set on time, nobody's using it. So, all right. I also do believe that my Versamark is dying. I'm not sure. I might get a new one. I do abuse the stamp ink pad a little bit. I like push things into it. It might be that, because my embossing powder has just not been sticking to it the best lately, and it hasn't been giving me very good coverage. And I was not going to pull out my fake Misty on this one. So, all right, we all know how to stamp and emboss, so I moved through that and then went upstairs and watched a movie while I fussy cut these out. I have been so spoiled with dyes lately. But I went upstairs, fussy cut those out. I am going to realize that I do want the center of these cut out, so you're going to see a little video magic come up here where I stop everything, and then all of a sudden, bam, the middles are cut out. And we are just going to put hot and then cocoa and put bombs in the middle, as you will see here. Cocoa does not fit properly. The A is hanging off of there, and for now it is working. I am thinking that that little wing, whatever you want to call it, flourish, might get ruined. I end up moving it in just a smidgen, but we'll see. I don't know how many times this flip will get opened, as much as I open it, I guess, while I'm working on this. And then a few more times. My kids do look through these albums, but not tons. So, all right, just using that secondary alpha to stamp bombs. Now, this is why I love purchasing these 6x8 stamp sets, because you are technically getting 2 alphas out of one stamp set. And you're going to see, here's another mistake. I go, and I'm getting it perfect, guys, and then watch. I stamped the S so far up. I was so mad. I was on my last one. And then I do it again, and I ended up having to stamp this out 3 times, guys. I'm telling you. Because then this one, I got the letters too close, and it looked silly. The M right here, the M, you're about to see it, was like right on top of the B. Okay, so we move past that. We stamp it for the 3rd time, and we get it. So just cutting out this little, pretty much like a sediment strip. I'm going to want it a little bit closer. So I trim off a little bit more. And then I figure out that my cocoa is completely crooked. So we redo that. And then put it down. And I love how it turned out. It was perfect. So there we go. And right now I'm just using scraps, guys. Any scraps that are on my table I am using. So that was the back of that candy cane stripe type ordeal. And now for the number. And here I am going through all of my numbers, trying to figure this out. This took a while also. I cut probably 5 minutes of this footage out trying to figure this all out. I knew I wanted to kind of bring the gold up more, and then I ruin a label. Ugh. That one is just not big enough. So I put that back. And then I'm like, look at, you have all of these hearts, and I wanted to try and stick with the circle, representation, because there were circles everywhere. And this is probably the hardest part for me, is the embellishments. I feel like some people can just like pull out embellishments that go together so well. And then this is where I get decision fatigue. Sorry, I moved the camera because I was pulling down some washi. I thought maybe adding some washi on the edge, because the edge was a little rough. I ended up not going with this. I'm not sure why I kept this part in here, but yeah, the golds just weren't matching. Nope. And this is where, like, I feel like I get bogged down in the process, is trying to do this. So here's where I'm like kind of worried about the A, kind of not worried about it. If it gets ruined, it gets kind of ruined. And we start the process of figuring out something to go on the back of it. And what I do come to the conclusion of is a vellum star with the gold around it, and it works perfectly as it incorporates the gold. Here we go again. It incorporates the gold that was in there, and there it is. And that is the winner. And I'm like, and we picked the white 3. White 3 is what was that, last year's? No. Yeah. Was it last year's, or was last year's the copper? Whatever. The black ones were from the copper year, right? So maybe the white ones were from last year. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Anyways, they were an Hallie Edwards product at one point. And we're going to stick that down and finish up this spread. So thank you guys so much for following along. Moving on to day 4. Let me know if you like the 1 day at a time, or if you would like to see more days put in together and make a little bit longer videos, maybe cut down on more of the processing time. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will talk to you guys soon, and definitely don't forget to leave a thumbs up or a comment below. Talk to you soon. Bye.